three big chunks. The first one, where we're going to have our Vice President of Foods and Refreshments, Abhiroop, who's going to tell a little bit of his own story. We then get into an interesting activity on SDGs. So please listen out for all the information because you've got to get tested on that. We then move into Lipton, and which is then followed up by an entrepreneur who's going to talk on the similar topic of mental well-being, and an app that he's actually set up as a source of motivation for everybody. Alwan, if you could move forward. Yeah. So a few things to just watch out for. Do try and mute your microphone. Keep your camera on. We'd really love to interact with you. Do remember to put in your questions in the chat box. Yeah, don't wait till the end of the session. So we do have a question at the end of the Lipton session and another one at the end of the entrepreneur session. And do keep your energies up because we do want to engage with you. So before I introduce our first speaker, who's our Vice President, Foods and Refreshment, Abhiroop, the reason why we wanted to bring to the fore and speak about the topic of mental well-being is the fact that, you know, unlike physical well-being, which we all tend to take care of, mental well-being is not a very often talked about topic, and anything to do with mental inability, disability, stress is something within our culture that is largely kind of taboo to speak of and is supposed to be dealt on by people by themselves. Yeah. So there is obviously a great need to change this thinking, and which is why we wanted to start with with Abhiroop sharing his story, because he's been through a journey that he shared with us internally last November. It was such a source of inspiration, an eye-opener, and we really think it'll help all of us to really address the stresses, the high levels of competition, expectations that we all hold to ourselves, and essentially how are we supposed to move on. So Abhi, over to you then. Alwan, if you can move the slide.
Thanks, Priya. Okay, I'll just do the usual check. But can we just stay in the previous slide before we come to this, please, Alwan? Yeah, I'll just do a usual check that, you know, you guys can hear me. So Noor, maybe you can let me know that I can be heard. All right. That's the line of 2020, isn't it? All right. So first and foremost, I'm really happy that Priya's given me this chance to speak to you all. It's a story which is very close to my heart. It's about me, so it can't get closer than that. And the reason I wanted to share this story is because Priya told me that a lot of you are at the beginning stage of your career, below the age of 25, which for me are days which I would love to go back to. But to that point, I wanted to share this story because I don't want all of you or anyone else that I know at that age profile to go through the journey that I've had to go through to learn certain life lessons, which is why I wanted to share my story. Right? So if I can move to the next slide. And just as a way to know, is this message going to keep appearing here of who's in the lobby? Priya? All right,
Let me try. It seems I know it's covering my screen also. I'll keep addressing people so that I avoid that.
Okay, so if I can grab everyone's attention, and I tried to do this, we are all people in the corporate world with the MBA in our, educational qualifications. So what better way to put it across rather than a graph, an x-axis and a y-axis that's ruled our life for so many years. So what I tried to do is to really plot a graph on well-being versus age and time. Yeah, and when I say well-being, if you see on the y-axis, I've actually written being well and well-being, and I'll explain that as we go. But let's start with that first picture, which is right on top. You can see there are 4 people. The one in the blue jacket is me. I think this is the last picture that I have when I had hair on my head. So I kind of retained it, and I never knew that I'll be able to use it in a presentation like this. But nonetheless, like I said earlier, these are days which I wish I could go back to. Yeah, wonderful stage of my life. But at the same time, if I had to go back to those days, I wish I would be doing a few things differently. First is what you can see in my mouth. I wish I didn't have that habit. And even if I did have that habit, I wish I was doing it more in moderation than compared to how I did it then. The second thing, if you ask me, is I don't think at that stage in my life I understood the concept of well-being. Truth be told, I think well-being is a concept which has been picking up more and more now. At that stage, when you're finishing your MBA, it wasn't about well-being, it was about being well. And being well meant more money and more success. And those were the things that were driving me. And hence, for me at that stage in my life, life was not about what I was living then. It was about what I wanted to live the next day, the next day, the day after that. And I was always chasing a goal. And you can see once I passed out from there and I got a job, and I've been with Unilever now for about 17 odd years, but I'm not blaming them at all. But if you see, the curve goes down. And why does the curve go down? If you see, the person in that orange t-shirt is actually me. And it looks like I possibly ate up two of my friends from that previous picture. In that 10-year phase, I was possibly eating up some of my friends. That's what I started looking like. And I reached a stage when this picture actually is of December 2011. And in January 2012, I think the best thing that's happened to me in my life happened, which was the birth of my daughter. And this, in fact, was a boys' trip before stepping into parenthood. And parenthood was the first wake-up call for me. I remember all of us who are parents here will remember the phase where we've kept our child has kept us up awake at night. We've been trying to walk them to sleep and so on and so forth. And I remember those nights when I would have to carry my daughter because she used to have a feeding issue. So I had to have carry her at night and walk up and down, and I couldn't do that beyond a point. I started feeling so tired having to carry a 2-month-old child that I asked myself the question that this cannot be right. Something is wrong. And I think that is the first stage when I started on my well-being journey. But it was a physical well-being journey. Because for me, at that stage also, I correlated well-being to my physical appearance, my physical fitness, and the fact that, I want to be fitter to be able to be a better father. And I started on that journey and I started losing weight and, I started exercising and all of those things happened. But I never understood even at that stage the concept of mental well-being. And I was still stressing over every little thing. I still wanted to be the first to get to some place. I was bothered about what designation I am at. I was bothered about this person was my colleague and this person has reached this stage in life and where am I at? And then life gave me my second wake-up call, which was at the age of 38. And you see those pictures, the one that's me on the hospital bed is the day after my heart attack. So I had a heart attack in December 2017. I have 3 stents inside me that keeps me alive, and I'm very grateful for that day. Many people look back at critical illnesses and say, I wish that had never happened. I think I look back and say that this is the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because that is the day when I understood the concept of mental well-being. So you can see from that picture, and if you compare those two pictures, that already changed my physical well-being, right? I was looking better, I was looking younger, I was healthier. But the stresses that I was taking then came in the way. And what was that stress at that point of time? I remember I was a director and I wanted to become a vice president. Yeah. And I must tell you all this story that I was in the hospital bed stretcher. And there was a point in time, this is just after my heart attack, I'd been just started on the thrombosis process. And there was a point in time when my heart rate became 0. And I will always vividly remember that moment because my head was spinning and I felt like life was shutting a door on me. And I was trying to keep that door open because I wanted to stay alive. And at that point in time, I didn't think 1 minute or even for 1 second about being a vice president or any such thing. The only thing I could think about at that point of time was, will I get to see my daughter again? Will I get to see my wife again? And I think that day onwards, I started my journey on mental well-being. And the 2 pictures I've attached are again small milestones for me. The first one you see is a watch with 2422 written. That is the first time I went on a walk 2 weeks after my heart attack. And I realized that there are so many small joys in life which happen to us every day. The birds chirping, children playing. And these are not joys for which you have to go far and wide to a hotel or a resort to enjoy. It's just around us. Every day, there is magic happening around us, but we get so busy with life or with what we define as life that we forget to enjoy it. And on that walk, I remember noticing things around me, which I never used to notice earlier. The second picture is one where I'm strapped up with many things on me. That was the test that I had to clear before I could go back to work. And the reason I remember that day always is because professionally, I was successful before at work, professionally, and thankfully, because of God, I continue to be successful at work after that. But I don't think it's the same me at work. There's a far more balanced me who comes to work now. There is a person who is not trying to get somewhere in life, who's enjoying the journey, most importantly. And for me, very often we confuse ambition and stress. I think these are in their own places. I'm still as ambitious as I was before. I still work as hard as I would do before. In fact, I possibly work harder, honestly. But I don't think I take the stresses. I recognize, I listen to my heart, my mind, my body far better. Today, I know when my stress gets to me. There is a lady on this call whose name is Molly, and Molly and I often have to have a conversation whenever I realize that I'm no longer doing as well as I should. And that just being in touch with your surrounding and being conscious helps me maintain a certain balance. And as a result, I feel I do far better now. And the last picture in this is to say that this journey that I've now got on, I don't think I'm going to be going back at all to those days of the past, because I so enjoy myself where I am. Physically, I'm better, but most importantly, mentally, I'm doing much, much better than before. And if we can move to the next slide, I wanted to leave you all with one key message. I use a simple filter, and it's a question I keep asking myself at times. Many people have looked at COVID and the lockdown and us having to spend time with family as a bit of a problem. Obviously, there are days when you wish you could meet more people, etc. But for me, having gone through what I've gone through in life, I look at every day now as a chance for me to enjoy my life with the people that I'd like to spend my last hour on earth with. And that's always my family. So, I keep enjoying that and keep enjoying it and keep spending time with them, stay balanced, stay grounded, but always keep enjoying it along with a cup of tea. Because a cup of tea can solve many a problem. And I'm not saying this because of Lipton, but because Lipton has actually been on a journey where one of the biggest aspects of mental well-being is also fighting loneliness. And one of the issues that we have today in the world, and many of you are aware, we spend more time with our phones and we spend more time in our virtual world as compared to the real one. And that's the issue that he is trying to solve. And that's a story I think that Tawfiq will share with you guys. And I really hope you all understand and really enjoy it. But most importantly, you're at an age in your life now where you can avoid making the mistakes that I made, and you can keep a curve which can keep going upwards. So listen to your heart, listen to your mind, and listen to your body. Priya, back to you.
I told you guys, Abhi, before you leave, you've got to look at all the comments. Truly, I've heard your story before, and it was such a source of inspiration that when I thought about the session, I said there's only one person who can tell that story. And I think I've seen people, I mean, I can almost hear people nodding their heads and saying such truth. But guys, keep that filter on, and remember everything that Abhi's told you. Yeah. So thank you, Abhi. We let you go, and thank you so much for spending the time with us, because we know how busy you are and you really had to take the time out. And thank you to Molly for ensuring that this was done. Thank you, Molly. Thanks, Abhi. Take care.
And thank you all. Have a lovely day. Bye.
Thanks. And Noor, over to you. Alwan, if you can move the slide. Yeah, for Noor.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Priya. Really, really inspiring story. And to be honest with you, well-being is one of my dear topics that I really like to read, to develop myself on it. And I love how Abby realized that well-being is not about physically being fit or doing the workout. Well-being, it goes beyond that. There is mental, there is emotional, there is spiritual. So very inspiring story by Abby. Now, a little bit, let me just introduce myself. My name is Noor Belfaqi. I'm the Corporate Affairs and Communication Manager for Unilever. And I'll be talking to you about SDG. SDG is actually one of the topics that I really love and admire, and it's so close to my heart. And SDG stands for Sustainable Development Goals. And as you can see on the slide, there are 17 goals cascaded into 169 targets. And I would like to remind you that it is very important for you to pay attention to these numbers and this information we're giving you, because you'll be asked about it in the quiz later on. So the Sustainable Development Goals, known as the Global Goals, and they were adopted by the United Nations members in 2015 as a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that all people enjoy peace and prosperity. And the deadline for these goals is 2030. So we have 193 countries participating in this, and lots of different stakeholders are supporting it. So we're having education institution, government, public, private entities, NGOs, and every one of us, we can play a role and support these goals. I personally, whenever I want to set any kind of goals for myself at the beginning of the year, or at any time, whether personal or individual, I usually have in my mind these goals and asking myself, how can I contribute to one or two of these through my goals and through my ambitions? So the 2030 agenda for sustainable for SDG is with 17 goals and 169 targets, and is a plan of action for people and planet and prosperity. They are universal and transcend borders and apply across workplace, marketplace, and community. And they are very much interlinked. So the progress of one of these goals is positively impacting other goals in a way or another. Now, let's move to the next slide. And as you can see in this slide, you have the 17 goals divided into 3 groups. We have the biosphere, we have the society, some goals for society and some goals for economy. And we're all entitled to contribute to this. So it is for people, for planet, for prosperity, peace and partnership. And the most important P out of these P's is participation. So this is a collective effort done by everyone. And I urge you always to read about them, see what's happening, and try to put some sort of goals for yourself to contribute to this. And I will finish my talk to you with a rap song that explains these 17 goals in a very nice way. So please, let's start the music and enjoy it with me.
The United Nations is an organization with goals of peace and sustainable development around the world. Their mission is huge, but we're breaking it down in 2 minutes. 17 sustainable development goals. Let's get to them, cause the more you know. Look, in some corners of the world today, people are living on $1 a day. Hey, that's not how it ought to be. So goal 1, eliminate poverty, and goal 2, root out hunger across the globe. There's 800 million people hungry if you want to know. Number 3 is health and well-being, and getting people the health care that they need in. Learning in school are the harder goal for. Education opens up minds and doors. Goal number 5 is empower girls and women so they can have the same rights that men are given. Number 6, people need water that's clean. Poor sanitation can spread disease. Carbon-free energy is goal number 7. And how to achieve it is the question that's pressing. But if we put our minds together and work hard, we can find a solution, I'm guessing. 17 sustainable development goals to improve life all around the globe. Protecting human health and the environment. Whatever bed we make, we gon' have to lie in it. 17 sustainable development goals to improve life all around the globe. Protecting human health and the environment. Whatever bed we make, we gon' have to lie in it. Now imagine that you work all day for no pay. Economic growth and decent work is goal 8. Goal number 9 is to foster innovation in infrastructure and industrialization. Goal number 10, inequality reduction. 11 is sustainable city construction. 12, well, that's sustainable consumption. So what we use matches up with production. Goal 13 calls for urgent action to combat climate change, cause we know it's happening. 14, protect life under seas. 15, protect life on land. Goal 16 is for peace and justice. All over the planet, they're in high demand. And the final goal, number 17, is the critical factor, the heart of the machine. It's the strength in the way we achieve these goals of sustainable development around the globe. Yo, 17 sustainable development goals to improve life all around the globe. Protecting human health and the environment. Whatever bed we make, we gon' have to lie in it. 17 sustainable development goals to improve life all around the globe. Protecting human health and the environment. Whatever bed we make, we gon' have to lie in it.
Over to you, Priya.
Yeah, so Alwan, if you can move the slides. And we are now going to play the game with the Mentimeter. So can I just request everybody to log into www.menti.com. And you've got the code there, 1419215. Just log in, put in your name, and we're going to play this game.
And we will put the code in the chat. So for you, for those who couldn't catch it on the slide, you'll have find it in the chat. So
Thanks.
maybe Rifia can do that as well for us. Good. We're having it on the chat now. So take your time to join the activity.
And can we move into a view of Mentimeter, please?
Okay, we're seeing people joining now. You can see we have 6 questions for you. Be ready. And you know, in these type of games, fast, speed plays a big role in winning.
Let's proceed with the question.
Okay. Okay, let's proceed. Okay. Answer as fast as you can. How many sustainable development goals have been agreed by the world as part of 2030 agenda? This is a very straightforward question. People got it wrong. 17 goals. Okay, let's see who's heading the leaderboard.
Okay. Let me stop the sharing and sharing again to stop the music.
Okay, Alwan. So we're waiting for Alwan to reshare again.
All right.
Okay, good. So we're back. Who's on the top of the leaderboard? We have Sundus, we have Nada, and we have Ahmed Hamouda. Good. Keep it up, guys. Let's move to the next question. Again, speed. Speed is very critical. Each SDG is supported by a set of targets, specific objectives that are associated with that goal. How many targets are there in total? It was there on the slide. Okay. Okay. And the correct answer is 169. Good. 16 people got it right. Good. Let's see who's on the top now. Okay. Okay, we have a Spider-Man on the top, and we have Shakshi, and we have Muhammad Uthman. So the first three who were in the top, they're not in the competition anymore. So speed plays a big role. It's not only getting the answer right. Let's move next. The Sustainable Development Goals come into effect on 1st January 2016. When are they due to expire? So there's, it's 2015, but when they're due to expire, it was on the slide as well. Correct. So 2013. Sorry, 2030. Good. We have two people got it wrong. Okay, let's move. Let's see who's on the top of the leaderboard. Okay, so Spider-Man still on the top. We have Sakshi and Basha. Good. So we have three people on the top. Let's move to the next question. This is the fourth question. How many countries have agreed to the SDG? This is again a straightforward question. It was on the slide. Okay. Okay, 15 people got it right. So 193 is the correct answer. And let's see who's on the top. Okay, we have Sakshi, Basha, and Sundus is back again to the game. Okay, good. Let's move. We have two more questions to go. One in people globally will experience a mental health condition in their lifetime. One in how many? And the answer is 4. 14 people got it right. It is a chronic disease and it is a hidden disease. Okay, so who is on the top? Let's see. So Sakshi, Spider-Man, and Ahmed, they're on the top. Now the last question, and we'll see who is the winner. The fastest, the better. How long do the majority of people with mental health problem wait before telling their closest family and friends about it? How long they take to start talking about it? Yeah, the correct answer is over a year, and 13 people got it right. I'm so excited to see who's on the top now. Many people got this question wrong. So Spider-Man, congratulations. So you got the highest points. Congratulations. It seems that you were paying attention to what we're sharing and saying in this session. Congratulations, Spider-Man. And over to you, Priya.
Thank you. And Alwan, if you can move the slide. So we are now moving into our next section, which is really about Lipton. And I'd now like to invite our marketing director, Tawfiq Chadli, who is another brilliant presenter and somebody a lot of us look up to actually really present about Lipton and its purpose and how it is addressing loneliness through quality connection. So, Tawfiq, over to you now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Priya. Happy to be here and happy to have this group with us. What we'll do is we'll talk about a subject which is very dear to my heart, which is the purpose. I think if there is one key reason I stayed in Unilever for almost 15 years is because of this being nurtured throughout the years. So let me start just by giving you a sense of who I am as a person in my journey, and then we'll come to what's happening. We'll spend a bit of time more into the marketing action and what we are doing around purpose. So let's move the slide, please. Yes, you meet Inam, it's all about tea, it's all about Lipton, it's really about brewing a better connection. I truly hope that we can actually brew some good connection here. So looking forward to engaging with you at the end of this session as well. So just to talk a bit about myself, moving to the next slide, please. I'm Tawfiq Chadli, I'm Moroccan. I started my life in Morocco. And my career started with Mondelez, then Danone, then Unilever. And with Unilever, I actually started in Morocco, and then after that I moved to Turkey, moved after that to Dubai, and then back to Morocco for 4 years, and then I'm here back in Dubai for the last 3 years. On the right, you can see my family. I've got two sons, Jed and Kenan, 5 years and 9 months. And that kind of occupied my COVID time quite well, I would say, this year. As you would see, I think if there are two things that I love in the work side, it's the marketing piece and the coaching piece. These are two pieces. So I'm the marketing director for Tea Arabia, but I'm also a leadership and executive coach, which is a pure passion. You would ask me what's the joint element between these two. It's one key thing, which is purpose, because I believe that at the end of the day, what we do as marketeers, our job as marketeers is to serve people. And the only thing that is really worth it is really serving people right, which is understanding them, understanding the challenges that they're going through, and having a role to play in their lives, and not just being there to be selling soups and soaps and tea and so on. The second piece, which is the coaching, which I believe, again, is all about purpose. It's about helping people get to what they want to get and help them look at life in a different way. And the way I summarize my personal purpose is actually that I consider my purpose all about seeding hope in the hearts and plucking out doubt from the minds, which is really about helping people live a better life and think in a better way so that they enjoy on a daily basis. It's very much in line and aligned to the brand, aligned to, let's say, the work we do in Unilever. So let me just give you a quick glimpse of Unilever, and then I'll land into the space of Lipton and all what we are doing. So moving forward. Yeah, so these are the brands. So I think many of you know Unilever, but a lot of you, and probably majority of people that are not in the marketing field or business, they would know more our brands, because we have always believed that each brand has to have a personality, has to have a different purpose, and has to have a different role to play. And as you can see, we are, let's say, operating on different categories, but I like to see them more as demand spaces, serving people the right way, but also offering to consumers and to people basically a good philosophy that they can really buy into, because our brands have philosophies and they actually respect these philosophies, and these brands really drive towards making the world a better place. And that's the one key thing I think really differentiates the brand Unilever, because at the end of the day, this is what we try to land with every single brand of ours. if we look at what Unilever is trying to do, and moving to the next slide, please. Purpose is really at the heart of everything to do that we are trying to do. And if you look at the impact that we want to make, you can see we are trying to impact people in terms of helping them improve their health and well-being. Environment is a key concern for us. Therefore, there are a lot of plans that are there in terms of helping us reduce our environment while we keep growing. And the last thing is really enhancing livelihoods, because we believe that prosperity happens through organizations, and organizations have to have a role beyond just the capitalism of making, let's say, more wealth. It's actually making people wealthier and people happier. And that's what we strive to do. And if you look at the role that Lipton is trying to do, is very much at the heart of this. So moving forward, please. So actually the story of Lipton started with Sir Thomas Lipton, that you can see here on the right. He was born around 1848, and basically since that time he came actually with a philosophy. His initial philosophy was about all about democratizing the tea in terms of making it available to everyone. Because before that, tea was very, let's say, limited to the aristocrat people, and it was really to the highest, let's say, revenue people in the society. The logic, he worked on, he owned his own plantations in Sri Lanka, and starting from that, he streamlined the whole chain, and then he started actually selling tea at a price which was never sold at. And that's what actually made a lot of people to join actually enjoying a cup of tea, a regular cup of tea on a daily basis. And on top of that, actually, it helped in making it just a daily beverage, the daily beverage we know today. That journey has taken us through the years, and now we are in a place where we have our own plantations in Kenya. We are doing a lot of activities on that front in terms of sustainability. All our teas, 100% of our teas are in a space of Rainforest Alliance certified, which are basically in line with the highest standards that are in the industry. So this is just to say that Lipton has always had a certain purpose that it was pursuing. But as we went over the years, we came to a place where we started sharpening that and making it even better. Moving to the next slide. So if you look at the last few years, most of our communication was about positivity, bringing a positive spin to your day, bringing mental clarity to your mind as a health benefit, talking about the calories and how these will help you. So we were actually already in the well-being space. But what we came to clearly know, and what we wanted to change, is actually we wanted to move from a place where we are just inspiring and providing some solutions to a place where we are actually doing something different. And we started looking at the whole, let's say, role that the brand can play in a completely different way. So moving to the next slide. And the whole idea actually is, sorry, are we moving? Yes. So what we wanted to do is moving from a space of inspiring to a space where we are actually solving problems. And what we did is we did a full survey. So there is a lot of work that's happened globally, but we did also our work in the MENA region. And basically what we found is that there is actually a challenge with the people. People are facing a challenge, and this was even before the pandemic hitting, where actually 52% of people feel that their relationships are superficial. 67% of the people in MENA feel lonely. And these are big numbers. They do actually scare you, because at the end of the day, you realize that, and I think when we connect with ourselves properly and fully, we realize that there are things, we are living most of our life in a bit of an automated mode. And I think this is very much building on what Abi said before, which is at the end of the day, if we would spend our life without bringing mindfulness into the day, connecting with people on a daily basis, and truly connecting with the ones that we have in our life, what happens is just life can fly, and we would probably be in a place where we would be looking back and regretting the time and how we spent the time. Top 5 regrets of the dying, many of them are about connecting with people and spending good quality time with the people that you love. So all of it, I'm saying this because it's really about and what we decided as a brand is we wanted to have a real impact. We don't want to be just there doing let's say selling our products. We actually wanted to take a problem, a real challenge, and actually let's say, help in alleviating it. So we had to understand the why. When we looked at the why, many of the elements were sitting around the pressure to be busy. So either because people are genuinely busy, or they feel like just the pressure to be busy. And job commitment was one of the key components of as a barrier of connection. A lot of people are spending a lot of time at work, and many of them even coming back home, they are still in that mindset of bringing the work at home and the challenges of work and this and that. So the key thing that we identified is there is a challenge, there is something meaty that we can actually change, and we are extremely excited to make a difference in this space. So moving to the next slide. So business is the space that we identified as a key barrier to connection, and as something that once we intervene and we do the right things, we can change the status and make actually a real shift in this space. Making a real shift to this space will actually impact directly people. And with this understanding, we formulated a clear mission. Moving forward, please. And the mission that we have given to ourselves, so our brand is, we are on a mission to awaken quality connections. And the whole idea is really about fighting the against hidden loneliness. When we talk about hidden loneliness, it doesn't mean you will find a lot of people actually being with people and sitting there and they are spending time with them. But the reality, they are actually feeling lonely inside because the relationships are a bit superficial. The engagement is not truly genuine. Sometimes a lot of small talk is there where people are just saying hello and they're not interested in getting an answer. And we thought there are so many areas where we can actually make a difference and change something. And so our focus was really, moving forward, please. It's all about encouraging genuine connection, getting people to pause, think, and connect, truly connect, because it does make a difference when you connect. When connection happens, listening does unlock that. Once people feel listened to, when the space is given, actually a lot of things can shift. We have experienced, I personally have seen it even in my coaching space, where I saw massive shifts happening in the way we engage with people just because we are listening. We are in a space of truly listening. So this is my invite to you, is truly go into a listening mode, because it is something that really helps, and we can just by listening make a major impact on people. I'll show you some examples in terms of the marketing campaigns that we have done, how we engaged around the problem and how we try to solve it, and then we'll come to a bit more details after that. Moving forward. Yes, and it's all about combating hidden loneliness. We talked about this. Moving forward, please. Yes, so what we wanted to do is basically creating a movement. Please, let's just go ahead. Yes, it's really about creating a movement. It's about engaging people. It's not about just saying things, but also getting people to do things with us and engaging in a movement. Moving forward, please. Yes. So where shall we start? We thought the first thing that we need to do is we need to start at the workplace, because actually if there is one place probably where people are not connecting truly, where you can find a lot of relationships but not necessarily deep relationships, is at work. A lot of people spend 10 years, 15 years, 20 years working together and they actually don't know each other. So what we did is we decided to create a movement. We started actually on the World Mental Health Day. And that's the moment where we broke our campaign, the first campaign there. And we announced, basically, we started an initiative of 15 minutes to connect. Since that time, for the last 1 year and a half, we have been actually active with this 15 minutes to connect. It's happening every week, where we invite people from the company. Even at the time when COVID has happened and so on, we continue actually to drive this element as a one key, let's say, driver. So we reach out to new people. We got a lot of people to engage with each other. We got a lot of discussions to happen, and a lot of people discovered actually people that have been working with for the last few years, but they actually never truly knew them. And we have a plan as well to take this beyond, let's say, our company, and we started actually engaging around that. Moving forward, please. We also thought that the best way to do is actually to get people to move from thinking of their to-do list, because that's something they do on a daily basis. They never forget to spend a bit of time on what they need to do, to actually to start thinking about to who. Who are the people they need to connect with? Who are the people who are worth spending time with? And the people simply that matter. That's probably people because of their to-do list. They actually don't spend enough time connecting with the right people. So let us look at our first video that we have communicated, and then we can move to the next to the other actions. So let's move to the video, please.
Yeah, I really don't have much free time for myself.
Absolutely have a big to-do list.
I like to play with my mom. I like playing basketball with my friend Ben. Oh, wow. Fix the washing machine. Clean toilets. Buy oatmeal. Like this one. Are these all older people's? Yeah.
Do they seem fun?
No. It seems so boring. Can you just turn it around?
Oh my gosh. Someone cutting onions? Oh, it brings tears to my eyes when I know Samaya's writing. And it's as simple as make a cake with mom. And I know it's hers because she's been asking me for a while and I have other things to do, so.
Spending time with them and not missing out on everything they're going through right now. Because eventually they're going to be writing the stuff on the other side of the board.
They're much better about being connected to each other through these, things and activities.
What would you now most put on your to-do list?
Build the sandcastle with my kids.
Bake a cake with the kids.
So tell us about how boring your
I don't want to pay, bro.
Yes. So that's how we started the journey, and of course we didn't stop there. Let's move forward, please. Yes, and the idea was if we wanted to change habits, it was very important for us actually to go in the key moments and to interrupt the people and make sure that we remind them of the key actions that need to be taken. So let's just go through these. Yes, as you can see, it's a key reminder because we know that people spend a lot of time on their phones. They are not spending the quality time that they can spend with many times they are actually with someone next to them, but their eyes are on the phone and their mind is not there. So it's really about bringing the person back to a quick reminder, go back to the moment, be in the moment and connect. Again, the next one, I think Netflix has become a big thing as well. Sorry, yes, we'll talk about this. Yeah, we'll cover that later. Then we actually thought about what's the best way of engaging people into action. And the logic for us was actually, let's look at the influencers. There are some influencers that are very much in line in terms of thinking and the way they look at the world and the way they are actually purposeful themselves and so on. How can we make sure that they become our ambassadors? And we start actually making a difference in terms of this space. And this is how we started the journey. I'll not take you through every single intervention. What we'll do is we'll look at just one of these examples considering the limited time that we have, but that can give you a bit of a flavor in terms of how we try to connect in a different ways with different people, and actually the styles of how everything has landed with every influencer were actually just very genuine, and every person did it the way they actually do things because we wanted things to be truly, truly authentic. So let's just look at one. Let's go to the next, please. So one of the examples is this one. Many of you would know him, Khalid Al-Amri. So that's one of the partnerships that we had. And basically the way we started the campaign is we started with actually the influencers telling the people that I actually have been lying to you. And they actually announced that a week before, saying that I have lied to you. And I will uncover that in a week's time. And then after that, actually everyone did it in a different way with the people that matter to them. Well, where actually the biggest lie ever told is that I don't have time. I think the key thing is we all kind of say that we don't have time, but the reality is we create time for things that we think are important. And what happens is only because there are things that we keep saying that they are important, but the proof is in the pudding. At the end of the day, the way you spend your time, the quality time you spend with the people that matter, is what really tells us if that's important to you or not. So I think to me, it's a day where I want you to, I think it's a good opportunity to remind everyone that we might be prioritizing other things in life. We might be looking at life as a to-do list and wanting to tick a lot of boxes. But today it's about busting that myth and really looking at ourselves in the mirror and really asking ourselves what's truly important. And I think when we ask ourselves that question and when we answer it properly, then we know that actually something needs to change. We need to move out of that automated mode and actually start doing something around it and truly start connecting with the people that matter, because we know life, it could be as long as it could be, it will still be short. So we need to make the best out of it. Moving to the next one, this video, I'll let it play. It will give you a bit of a sense of how different we basically lend the message. It's not the only way, we did it in so many different ways. And there is a very genuine message at the end that you can listen to. Let's go for it.
Now, it's time for me to reveal my biggest lie.
My mama keeps calling me, but I can't answer her right now. Wants me for lunchtime, but mama, I'm telling you, I really got no time. I'm just so busy in my life, the to-do list has become my wife. Got so many things to do, don't even have time for my boo. We got back-to-back tasks in our daily life and way too many asks. But even when I'm sitting with people, my brain's flying like an eagle. I'm just craving a connection, it gives me some real affection. With you, mama, I just wanna be, and also with the family. So happy, sing with family, let's talk happy, not on my own.
Being an amazing moments like this, amazing quality time with your family, precious memories that really remember when you're just always
Something is wrong with the video. I'm sorry. Yeah.
feel like I'm one of the most people that actually suffer from this, where I'm like sleeping in my class and in the weekend I lose out on a lot of quality time and things that really matter. I posted a picture a few days ago.
Sorry, it's not working actually. The message is not heard at all. Is it? Can you just reinitiate it? But go to the middle. I don't think we need to go back now. Yes.
I'm one of the most people that actually suffer from this, where I'm like sleeping in my class.
I can't do much here, so if you can summarize.
That's fine. Okay, let's go. So I think the key thing is just at the end of the day, the whole message is, once the message lands, it's really about connecting truly to people, telling them about their life and engaging around actually the things that need to change. And I think what I found very interesting in this intervention specifically is it was a talk from the heart, where it was really a call to action and asking people to move out of their daily, let's say, automated mode to a mode which is a much more engaging and so on, to truly make a difference in their life. We'll see if we can share the link separately or something, but yeah, that I think is the key message. I think you got the message in terms of overall what you were trying to land here. So it is about making things actually real, and it's not about just doing a marketing campaign, because to me, marketing campaign is all about truly making a difference and truly connecting and truly making some difference there. Let's move to the next, please. Yes, and we don't only talk about it, we also do it. So we have been actually actively lending corners of quality connection across, where it was really about getting people to connect around the right subjects and engaging in properly and so on. So it's not only about the say, but it's also about the do. And let us also share with you, next please. Yeah, and we know that the pandemic actually came, and when the pandemic was there, we know that it actually created a lot of, it made the issue of loneliness even more, because a lot of people were either alone or we had people with them, but they were going through a bit of a tough time. So that's when we actually even adjusted our communication to deliver the right messaging at the right time. So let's just see two examples of these. Let's look at the next video. Can see it on the screen. That's fine.
Together forever and never to part. Together forever we do. And don't you know I will move heaven and earth to be together forever with you.
Brew a better connection.
So these are just examples of interventions at the right moments, and as once you see how the full consumer experience shifts, that's where you get a sense of what this is. The next part of the journey is we are now connecting with some very strong, let's say, community, strong partners that can help us land this mission on ground in terms of truly making a difference for the people that are suffering from loneliness. So more will come. This is just to give you a bit of a glimpse, and I would want to basically end with a bit of a nice video that can give you a sense of how we did actually the launch across the world in terms of this purpose. This is just to give you a feel of how we lived this inside Unilever. Can you reboot? Yeah. Yeah, it's not moving. Wait, Alwan, sorry, it's blocked. I was not sure if it's blocked only at my end. But I think, can you just reboot it, please, from the middle?
It was working on my end too.
Yeah, but I don't think is it everyone is able to see it? No, a lot of people are sending messages. So can you just reboot, please, middle? Okay, I think it gave a good glimpse of the idea and the spirit around it. And I think with that, all what I want to say is join us in the You Meet You Now movement. Do create these nice connection moments because they do make a difference for people and they will make a difference for you. I believe that if we increase our listening quality, if we engage with people properly, the life will change and the world will change. So let's use that power with every person, every time, and connect truly. With that, we'll open the floor for any questions.
Yeah, thanks, Tawfiq. We do have a few questions that have two questions that have come in. And I'll start with the first one, which is coming from Faminda. And she says she's a fan of the hibiscus tea that we sell. Is there any way that this could be packaged differently and sold to consumers, for instance, in glass jars, or would it be possible to buy loose tea? Could they order it online, pick it up, so that there would be less packaging? So before you jump into the answer, I just want to tell Faminda that we do have a session on plastics tomorrow, plastic packaging. So do try and join that. But in the meantime, I'll let, Tawfiq answer.
Yes, I think today what we do is we look at the market in terms of the demand and how the demand can be best served. The reality is every time we have the ability to reduce, and we have clear programs in terms of reduction of packaging, reduction of plastic. We are operating in a space where we barely have any plastic which is left in our packaging, very minimal. I'll not go into the details of that, but I think that's a journey that we are going through. Now, in terms of, I think where we are in the service of, let's say, serving people. And at the end of the day, while we want to offer things that are, because at the end of the day, I want you just to see it the way we see it. We see packaging as a cost. We don't see it as anything else. To us, it's a pure cost. It's a way of delivering our brand message and so on, and the regulatory elements and so on. But at the end of the day, if we have the chance of getting rid of that, we would do. There is no reason for us to complicate our life. The number of machines and the number of costs that is involved in packaging is massive. So the choice of moving out of tea bag or moving out of, let's say, this type of packaging is something that we are willing to take. Now, we need to do it in line with the consumer demand. Because the reality, the big learning that you have around the market is the moment you decide to actually just offer something which is not in line with what the consumer wants, what happens is you are not making a difference at the end of the day because no one will buy it. Then you will have it there and it becomes a waste, and then it will be actually the opposite. So the intention for us is really about looking at the opportunity there. Hibiscus specifically, I love the fact that you love one of our teas. It is a product which we believe is in a space which is very niche. And today, if you ask me specifically for that product, I don't see it expanding into loose tea because the reality is majority of our consumers are not in a space of using loose tea for this demand occasion. So therefore, we do adapt the offering that we have to the demand occasion. The moment the demand will be big enough, then we'll move into considering that. Do we consider loose tea overall? We do consider loose tea and jars and so on. We have a big journey that we embarked on, and we have taken initiatives in that direction. And that will continue.
I would, Tawfiq, I'd just like to add to that is the fact that tea is a very, very sensitive material. It absorbs smell very, very quickly. Yeah, which is why what Tawfiq mentioned, as per regulatory requirements, we have to package it in a certain way. We have a very strong, what we call plastic packaging agenda, whereby we are trying to reduce and convert our packaging so that it's all recyclable, compostable. Actually, all of our tea bags are today compostable, 100%. And with regards to our packaging, it's all of our packaging, so not just food and refreshments or tea. We are almost in MENA at about 73%, all of our packaging. So there's a lot of work that has happened. But Faminda, do try, and for everybody else, attend the session for tomorrow, which is around this topic. There is...
And I take note of the comment because Faminda has given the comment around that there is demand in this one. We'll look into it. Happy to look into it. Thank you.
Yeah, because we're on the topic, Faminda, it's very important that you look at something called the life cycle or the environmental impact of the material that you're talking about, frankly, plastic has a much better environmental footprint than glass. Okay, glass is much heavier. Once it breaks, you cannot recycle it. Plastic, because of the very facets that make it so long-term, in such use long-term and so popular, are the same reasons that make it a problem. Yeah, but we'll get into that topic tomorrow. There's another question, Tawfiq, on the movement that you talked about from Mariam, and she asked, did you start with a specific goal of driving a movement, or was it a very vague idea and you then branched out from it and it acquired momentum and into a movement? So what was the initial thinking behind it?
Yeah, no. The initial thinking is very simple. We want our brand to have a clear role in people's lives, and we want it to have a real impact. We wanted to go beyond these minor things of I'm a cup of tea, because we believe a brand is way beyond just the product. The product is good. The emotional benefit, which is potentially the mood uplift or having a better, let's say, focus at a time because of the caffeine and theanine, that's all good. But we needed also to have actually a real impact in society. And that's our way. So the intent was to create a movement. The brief to the agencies when we started our briefing of the campaigns was all about creating a movement. We are not here to just communicate something once and then see if it works. We actually are engaged around how to make it a success and how to make it a real movement.
And I agree with you. I think there is this growing realization that while all of us are so much more connected through social media, it's the same social media that is making us so lonely. Actually, we think we are connected, but in reality, we are not. Yeah, we really need that human intervention, that human touch, that face-to-face interaction, and quality connections. We are moving too much into the space of keeping it very top line, small talk, and missing out on the deeper interaction. So absolutely. And I think for me, I never thought, in my case, I have two boys and who are soon going to go to college. And you're correct, my to-do list keeps me so busy, and I think I'm so busy that I'm probably missing out on that time with them. So thank you, Tawfiq, for that thinking. And it's top of mind for you. So thanks so much. We'll now move into the next section. Yeah. And
thank you. Thanks
thank
everyone
you very much, Tawfiq. Thank you. Thanks for your time. And Alwan, if you can move that forward, the slide. Yeah. And we now would want to invite Ashraf Bashid, who is the CEO and co-founder of O7 Therapy. This is really an online platform and a mobile app which provides handpicked Arabic-speaking psychiatrists and psychotherapists to support people who are struggling with mental health challenges. And Ahmed really Ashraf founded this on the conviction that every individual really deserves the opportunity to pursue mental wellness. You remember at the start, I did mention that mental wellness and well-being is not something we look at from a cultural perspective. It's something of a taboo. We are expected to deal with it ourselves. And what Ashraf is really helping to do through his app is really bring it to the forefront and provide the assistance to the people who are needed. So welcome, Ashraf, and thank you so much for being here. I'm sure your talk to the group is really going to help drive a great degree of motivation. So over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be a part of this initiative. It's amazing that you come out with an amazing impact vision, which I really like about what you do, that you're not just trying to sell products and consumables and commodities, but you're creating impactful stories behind that. And I love that when companies have that great vision. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate you taking the initiative about something like mental health to address the issue. And what I would love to do is I want to start with a very personal story, if I may. At the age of 27, I had started my business journey and entrepreneurial endeavors very early on when I was in college. And I got married pretty young. And by the age of 27, I had 2 kids. I had a company that I started when I was in college, and I had very big plans of my life, for my life. And at that moment, with absolutely no introductions, I was told that I was diagnosed with cancer, and I had only 6 months to live, was the best estimation I got. That was a very hard time for me, for my family, for my young wife, for my friends. And definitely it was an emotional roller coaster for myself, which I couldn't handle. After some good news broke that I was misdiagnosed, I went to a very specialized center knowing, in the States, knowing that my disease was a different than diagnosed. It's a different kind of cancer, which is operable. And I got proper treatment. And I came out of that months of journey with very little energy, with very little understanding of the amount of intensity with the whole experience that I've went through. And that was my first encounter in my life, like a real encounter where I was faced with the fact that I needed support with my mental health. Before that, it was never an issue. It was never something that comes out in a discussion. The way I was brought up, the way I'm built, my brain is wired, never really took me to deal with my weaknesses, to deal with the issues I really wished I could deal with at a younger age. But anyhow, fast forward 20 years, I look at statistics, and those statistics say that as we speak today, is more than half of young Arabs do believe that quality mental health is still very difficult to access. And more than 2/3 of them say that people they know with mental disorders do not seek help from mental health professionals. And these are shocking realities. More than 1/3 of young people in the Middle East around us today, people we know, people like yourselves on this call, actually know people that suffer from mental disorders, and the most common ones, especially with young age, are anxiety and depression. We need to think that all of those facts are actually built on a societal stigma that really doesn't help the case. So dealing with our weaknesses, or what we think is weaknesses, dealing with our struggles, dealing with our issues, our mental health issues, actually, and coming out takes a lot of courage in our societies. It is one of the most stigmatized places are the places that offer mental health. So there is a huge barrier to entry to a clinic. There is a huge barrier to entry to any process that actually gives us access to proper medical, evidence-based mental health services. And this is a shocking reality that we live around and we hardly deal with or try to change. My story 20 years ago and those facts that surround us today are basically the true motivation behind a story of myself and 2 of my very good friends who came together about this idea of coming up with a new platform, with a new startup, with a new idea that solves the problem of giving access to really good mental health services to people that are really in need. So basically, what we did is that we came together with this idea. I decided to change career completely after studying pharmacy myself, working with family business, working in marketing in different advertising and different industries, design. I worked in loads of different things with another friend who is a technology guru, software. He runs a software company for many years, and a third friend of ours who is a psychiatrist, actually a professor of psychiatry in Cairo University. And we were just, myself, not the psychiatrist, myself and Nader, who is the technologist, discussing this problem, discussing our own and reflecting on our own challenges, and actually the idea of that barrier to entry to a clinic or to access to therapy, and reflecting on this specific idea. We weren't fishing for a business opportunity. We were in reality trying to solve a problem of our own, and thinking of what were the opportunities and what were the alternatives around us. And we came up where we saw this gap, we identified this gap, where, to my mind, jumped immediately that technology, by principle, by definition, is there to solve those gaps, is there to actually bridge those gaps between the need of people that they have a problem and the solution to this problem. So at this point, we came up, if you could just roll down the slides, with the idea of building a platform that gives access to the mental health service providers themselves. And that was our first product that we launched about 7 months ago, which basically is a platform that helps any person identify his challenge through a matching tool that we built, and that actually resembles somewhat the clinical assessment that happens to a person when he goes into a clinic, being asked a question, being asked a set of questions from a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and by answering those questions, he gets different questions asked follow-on. And we built this artificial intelligence-based tool to help the people identify the real need they have and match them with an ideal therapist that can help them. And then he gets to book a session and pay as he goes and so on. That was our initial product. That was our initial idea for our startup, which we launched July 2020 in the climax of COVID time, where everyone was thinking now they want to move into a digital reflection of their business, or everything should go online. And we had already been planning and working for a year before that, building the product and building the platform and preparing for this moment. So when it was the right time and our product was ready, we could launch it. And we're from the very early days, we could see great traction. We could see tens of therapists joining us. We could see best of the psychiatrists and psychology professors in the whole Middle East wanting to become our advisory board and advise how we actually deliver this service. We could put together a very talented team that really buys into the vision and wants to do that impact. And for me personally, the highlight of what we do is that it's an intersection of technology, which I love, and where I studied my master's degree specifically in technology entrepreneurship, and it shows how much I am bought in, and I really like and have this passion for technology, but at the same time with a medical service that has a very, very specific nature that kind of hurdles the people from reaching access and seeking help in this specific area, given the context that I just described of the stigma situation in our Middle Eastern culture, and facilitating this access of those services to people who need it. So our product is building on that. It's building on that, giving access to university students through affiliations and partnerships that we're doing with student unions and with universities, through giving this access to employees, through employers, through their companies, their employers that have a vision and have true passion for that they could give access to their employees to those services with at minimal cost when it comes to the whole pool being covered and so on, like an insurance model. And we're building on it. We're building on it everything that the technology allows. where we can leverage technologies to serve with the whole therapeutic journey with self-help tools, with guided self-help tools through the different ways that this can be offered through the application, through the our platform. And an integral part for us is not just selling those services or basically trying to make money out of those services and monetizing on them. But what we try to do is to break the stigma through creating content that breaks the stigma, that creates awareness, that just puts up those topics boldly on the walls and boldly on the table for discussion that has been taboo for a very, very long time. So no matter of someone's age, gender, sexual orientation, religious beliefs, circumstances, context, what we try to do is provide them with qualified Arabic-speaking and English-speaking psychologists and psychiatrists who are really able to help them with very unique experiences with the problems they have or the challenges that they go through, and they don't need to go through them on their own with traditional ways that we were raised up to work hard on trying to solve our problems with. So basically, this is my story and our story of O7 therapy in a nutshell, and I'd be very happy to answer if you have any questions or comments. I love to engage with the conversations rather than speaking on and on.
Thanks, Ashraf. That was, that was quite a story that was absolutely amazing. And like they say, through one's own personal struggles, you actually can build something beautiful, and here you've come up with something that is probably going to be of use to so many others. But we'll keep the questions with you for you a little later. We just, in the meantime, can everybody just put in some questions in the chat box and we'll take them up. And can you, Alwan, could you move the slide, please? And for some reason, I can't see the slides. Yeah. Yes. Could you move the slides? And we want to quickly. So our objective of actually inviting Ashraf was to provide you, with a motivation, to showcase that everybody can actually drive change. Everybody can contribute to addressing the issues in the community. You've just got to find that issue and then move towards taking action. And we just want to actually show you a small video as to how each of you can be change makers within your own communities. Alwan, could you play the video?
Hello, I'm Emma Watson. We have an urgent mission to complete by 2030, and I really need your help. We need to fight global inequality, end extreme poverty, and respect our planet. Watch this film to find out how you can use your creativity and power to help us achieve these goals. Thank you.
Hello? Hello? Are you there? I was just saying that we have to use our creative superpowers to achieve the United Nations global goals. How? Although the Earth is just a tiny speck in space, it seems enormous to us when we're on it. The global goals can seem huge too. But if you focus on fixing the things where you live, you can make a big difference. There are 3 ways you can help. You can invent, innovate, and campaign. So buckle up and let's take a lightning flight around the world to see what young people are doing already. First stop is Istanbul in Turkey, where we meet Elif. She's an inventor. Like many big cities, there's a lot of pollution in Istanbul, some caused by petroleum-based plastics. Elif wasn't happy about that and wondered what she could do. So she invented a new natural plastic made from banana skins. No, seriously. It's cheap, easy to recycle, and you can make it in your own kitchen. And if you like banana desserts, you can't really lose, unless you eat too much. So, let's talk about toilets. This is Rohit. He lives in Bangalore in India. The population there is growing very quickly, and so is all the, well, waste. A regular toilet uses 6 litres of water each time it's flushed. This is too much where water's scarce. So Rohit invented a toilet that saves 50% of that water. He called it the vacuum flush. His invention won an international science prize, and now he's flushed with his own success. Thanks, everyone. You can be an innovator, be creative, and think about how to improve the way we live. Take urban creators in North Philadelphia. This amazing group of teenagers reclaimed derelict land in a dangerous, run-down neighborhood. They built a thriving farm where they grow fresh food and now supply hundreds of local homes and restaurants. Life Do Grow Farm has transformed the community and made it healthier and safer for everyone. Now, let's go to Nigeria, which has one of the fastest growing populations in the world. This is Team Charis, a group of brilliant girls who are solving a big problem. Team Charis realised that in parts of Nigeria, lots of people get sick because rubbish isn't cleaned up properly. So they created Discardius, a phone app to report waste and have it taken away safely by eco-friendly cars. See? Sometimes a healthier world is just one great idea away. You could be a campaigner. Malati and Isabel are sisters from Bali. They've been on a mission to stop plastic bags from harming their beautiful island home. Millions of plastic bags end up in the ocean. They pollute the water and harm marine life. Malati and Isabel decided enough was enough. They organised petitions and beach cleanups, and now their efforts have convinced their governor to ban plastic bags in Bali by 2018. Finally, let's go to Jordan. This is Mazoon from Syria. She used to live in a refugee camp. Many girls in the camp had to marry so young that they had to give up their education. Mazoon thought this was a big mistake, and she waged a campaign to convince parents to keep their daughters in school and not make them marry too young. All girls have a right to a great education. And just look at what one educated girl can achieve with enough determination. Young inventors, innovators and campaigners everywhere are changing the world for good. And so can you. You just need to care, get creative and collaborate. If we all do that, by 2030 we can really make the global goals a reality. I'm just saying.
So, Alwan, if you could move the slide, please. So I hope that was just a view into the fact that each of us, no matter how young, old, we can all make a difference if we just outline the issue. So having inspired you, one is through Ashraf's talk, second is through the video. We just want to announce the opportunities that we're going to present for each of you to actually take some actions. And we're actually running between February 15th and March 15th, 2 competitions. One is an article writing competition for those who love the written word and are probably communication students. And the second, for anyone and everyone, for you to participate in a photo competition. So, identify an issue within your community, take a picture, support it with a 500 small word write-up as to how you would address that issue. We will then actually shortlist candidates, put them together with mentors who will help you consolidate that plan. And then the top 3 will actually receive a monetary reward for putting your thoughts or your plan into action. So do participate, get onto our site and get all the details, register yourselves, and we'll send you further details. We ran a session yesterday on diversity and inclusion, today on Lipton and mental well-being, and we are running 2 more sessions, one on plastic packaging. Plastic packaging, the session is tomorrow, so do sign up for whoever's interested. And on March 2nd on sustainable manufacturing. Alwan, could you move? We will actually be sending you a follow-up email with some of these details and links, so just watch out for that. We additionally plan to set up a Unilever youth community. And so if you'd like to be the first to get invited to similar workshops and events exclusively, which are catered and focused on the youth, or you want to receive alerts on our progress against our sustainability commitments and targets, or you want to hear about upcoming competitions, projects, and greater opportunities, and want to generally engage with us, then do write down your name and email ID in the chat box. We are going to collate that and get back to you. Alwan, if you could move the slide. And now we just want to do a quick 3-question survey. If you could log on to menti.com, you were there earlier. Use the code 1419215. Alwan, if we could connect to Menti.
This correction, the code has been changed, and the correct code is being displayed in the screen. Yeah.
Great. Alifia, if you could put the code in the chat box. So the code, everyone, is 2916688. So that's 2916688. And the first question we'd just like you to answer is, would you like to continue engaging with our sustainability agenda? It's a yes or a no. Yep. Alwan, I think there's a question prior to this also. Not sure if this is the.
It's okay. The next. So let's.
It's the next. Okay, we'd wait for that. So, okay, let's move forward. Yeah. So, yeah, that is the question. Would you like to please rate today's session on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest and 1 the lowest? Okay. And we can move forward. Thank you. And this is an open-ended one. Do you have any suggestions on how we can actually make the session more useful and engaging? If you could if you'd like to put up any suggestions for us. No suggestions? Did everybody just find it so lovely? Okay. Oh, lovely. Thank you for whoever put that up. It was perfect, and you love the idea of the app. Yes. That's really using technology, to its fullest extent, and providing an opportunity to those who really don't want to talk about it openly, but providing them that opportunity of connecting with experts. Wonderful. Okay, so let's just move forward. And Alwan, if we could go back to the slide. Yeah. Now, so we are here now on the Q&A section, and I'm trying to see if we have any questions for Ashraf. I don't see any. But let me just start then by asking Ashraf. Ashraf, you did mention what was the, what was that key step, or what was the issue that that point in your life that actually got you thinking about this? The story that you told us in terms of the impact that you went through in terms of your analysis. It was a wrong diagnosis, and that got you thinking. There was a question actually, when you started putting your app out there, did you get any resistance? Did you feel there wasn't any level of acceptance? What were the challenges that you faced?
Well, we had anticipated because, as I said, we've been working since almost middle of 2019. So that's about 9 months or so pre-Corona time, pre-COVID time that we've been planning and strategizing and started designing and building our platform. And we knew that we will be challenged from both sides, from the supply side and from the demand side. From the therapist side, thinking, okay, I am doing good business in my clinic or whatever. What does that mean to me? convincing them that eventually they need to find digital ways to reach out to customers who cannot reach them in their physical context, we knew was going to be a challenge. And the other one was convincing clients who have the awareness, who know, but like we were thinking the only segment that we're addressing here is the one that cares about confidentiality and is hurdled by the stigma. So basically, the pandemic time really pushed things fast forward in a big sense. Thinking of now that everyone basically does so much more than he would think a year ago, online payments, inclusion for everything that's digital, education, obviously, webinars like this one, like meetings, business meetings, cutting off business travel, all of that brought us to an understanding where we have a much, much higher acceptance to doing things online. So that helped, but still, trust is a big issue when it comes to opening up and sharing very personal challenges like this. So our biggest challenge was coming out as a trustworthy and trying to show everyone the credibility behind what we're doing. I think that was one of our biggest challenges that took a little bit of time, and then it slowly grew, and it was obvious that where it was going.
So in terms of growth, is there something that you can share in terms of the numbers of subscribers? Any other KPIs that you have?
Yeah. What I can share is that we have month-over-month growth. Like every month, we grow by an average of over 30% every month of new clients. The other thing that I would love to share is the how clients stick around. People who identify that they have a mental wellness issue and actually take the stance, take the initiative, and start this journey. They in the vast majority of the cases, immediately they identify that they want to continue and they see substantial value in it. So the people who have done more than 3 sessions from our clients are more than 40%. Come back for session number 2 and session number 3 and more than that. So and we're talking about hundreds of clients doing thousands of therapy sessions, and all of that, and we haven't yet we haven't yet launched new products like them to come for self-help or bundles where they can do go through certain programs, and all of that is coming out. And now, with the help of medical team, with the help of people who are innovating for this specific purpose, we are actually reinventing mental wellness and how it is delivered. Because what we're doing is we're completely revolutionizing the whole way and the whole strategy of how that is rolled out in terms of the traditional way and how it looks like and how it could look like and how it's ideally being experienced in a digital context.
I think I would agree. I think the true success really lies in people who actually you tend to retain and who come back. Any plans to expand this beyond Egypt, given that
it's already international in the sense of that we have clients from all over the world, and it is not limited by location, and that's one of the beauties of doing such a business online, of coming up with such a venture. We already have therapists who live abroad, who live in many countries around the world, and more than 15% of our clients come from outside of Egypt.
Excellent. So I can't see any other questions here, but Ashraf has actually put his the detail of his app there. If anybody would really like to get in touch with him, feel free. Is there, Ashraf, would you like to put your email or something else out there?
Sure. What I can do for easiness is I can put my Twitter handle.
Yeah.
So that's the easiest way to reach out and reach me.
That's wonderful. Okay. So that's excellent. So we have that there.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping, I think, especially for younger people, that like Abhi said, don't make the same mistakes that our generation has kind of made. There are a lot of changes that are now coming up. There's a lot more awareness, and it's about really you recognizing the need for your own mental well-being. A lot of times easier said than done, but then you have apps like what Ashraf has set up. So that kind of provides that level of security, if that's what you're looking for. And congratulations, Ashraf, really. I'm going to be following you on Twitter, and congratulations on all your work. So thank you, everyone. With that, we're going to close the session, and we will be sending you a link with the recording and a link to our landing page where you can go and register yourselves for our competitions. And and we look forward to you actually attending our session for tomorrow. And then the one on 2nd of March, which is on sustainable manufacturing. So thank you, everyone, for staying with us. Goodbye.